FuboTV is now suing Fox, Warner Brothers Discovery, and Disney as it aims to block the launch of a joint sports streaming platform from the media giants. Joining us right now more on the antitrust landscape is David Balto. He is the former policy director at the FTC and former trial attorney in the antitrust division of the DOJ. He's now at his own firm. Good morning to you. What do you make of the lawsuit, and what do you think the chances are that they will prevail?
Well, yeah, Joe just talked about how anxious he can become. Well, if he's anxious over what he talked about earlier, he's going to need a giant anxiety pill if this deal were to go through. There's a clear record here that ESPN's bundling tactics have significantly raised costs to consumers, and allowing them to effectively merge with these other firms is going to force consumers to pay through the nose for the programming that they desire.
Well, I was already anxious about this. I mean, you know, I work for Comcast. I didn't like this already, so you nailed it. Very, very anxious about it. I don't like it. I mean, it's like collusion. Put all these big companies together. I don't think the league should. There's a reason they didn't tell any of the leagues what they were talking about either, David.
Right. And look, the current antitrust enforcers have taken a really careful and critical look at bundling and how bundling raises the cost to consumers. We need ESPN, it's essential, but once you take ESPN's market power and you bundle it with other products, it significantly raises the cost of those other products. Now, the FTC has taken a tough stance on this in the pharmaceutical industry and come out with a policy statement against that kind of bundling. I think this is a case that has real legs to it, and a court should block this deal in order to protect consumers.
David, let me ask you a question, though. If you look at the media landscape today, it is quite large. It has lots of incumbents, but also lots of challengers, well-heeled challengers in the form of technology companies like Amazon and Apple, and so many others that are coming into this space. You could argue that some of the legacy companies are actually in trouble. I mean, genuinely troubled as a result of what's happening. How much should that be part of the calculus here?
That's not a big part of the calculus. The calculus under the antitrust laws is protecting consumers so they don't have to pay more for services that they need and desire. And the record here is crystal clear. ESPN's bundling tactics in the past have significantly raised costs to consumers. This merger will just be more of the same. It's like telling an 800-pound gorilla, here, you know, eat tons of ice cream. This will make life better for us. No one's ever better when a gorilla goes from 800 pounds to 1,000 pounds. So
what is your gamble then? You think this deal is not going to happen? You think this will never come to fruition?
I think this deal is going to be challenged by the Justice Department, but the lawsuit is there too to make sure a court gets engaged immediately and takes the right actions to protect consumers.
Let me pivot for a moment. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the other big deal of this week, which was Capital One and Discover Financial. How do you think regulators are going to look at that? We were talking about the op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this morning about it.
They're going to be extraordinarily skeptical about it for two important reasons. Capital One and Discover are important head-to-head competitors in the consumer end of the high consumer end of the market, the consumers who care for cash back. So they're direct competitors there. There's no way to avoid that. More importantly, Discover is an important maverick in the cost to merchants, the merchant discount. And by being acquired by Capital One, that discipline on the merchant discount part of the market would be eliminated. This is a lose-lose situation for consumers and will get intense scrutiny by the Justice Department.
David, you don't think there's any argument to be made that Visa and MasterCard effectively have been a duopoly with American Express out there as well, and that they could use some competition?
They do have competition. The question is, what will happen to that competition from Discover if its parent is Capital One? And what I'm suggesting is its incentive and ability.
You think that Discover is a viable competitor right now to Visa and MasterCard? Hardly. How many people do you know with a Discover card?
Lots, and there should be more. And to the extent there are anti-competitive practices by Visa and MasterCard, the Justice Department should go after them. But they are an important rival in the market. There's important head-to-head competition between Capital One and Discover, and that would be lost if this merger went through.